Hey guys, it's just me again. We're counting down the days, the hours, the minutes, whatever, till Daybreaker comes out, and I thought I would reveal some secrets about Undertow that you may not have known. Um, so, in the last post, I talked about who you guys happened to save, which was Kian, and this time around, I thought I'd talk about basically characters, how I came up with them, and more importantly, what was cut from Undertow. So, Undertow was 20,000 words, longer than it is now. Originally in the story, Isla brought a horse with her from Kansas. And the original opening of Undertow was actually Isla Walker in a barn in Kansas saying goodbye to a friend who was a fellow writer, and she was showing her a picture of the house that she'd inherited. And she was talking to her friend, and then she reflects back on the phone call she got from the realtor and the auctioneer that she had inherited this house. And there's even a scene with her in the car going over the Sagamore Bridge. And the Sagamore Bridge, you have a little bit of a bump every once in a while because the plates are together on the bridge. And she's looking at the lights in the canal and stuff, and all that got chopped. And it was the right thing to do. First of all, what the frick am I going to do with a horse? In Undertow. Because originally the horse was going to be in the backyard, and I'm like, that's done. And I think that happens to writers. Like, when you first conceptualize something, you're like, oh yeah, I'll do this, that, and this. And then there gets to be a point where you're like, I can't make this all work. It's impossible. So that's number one, simplify. So everything up to the point of her waking up and in her new room got hacked. I have the file somewhere from a million years ago. But that all got dumped. What else got dumped? Conceptually, Rillin originally was going to be a sort of like a love triangle thing. Before you even say it doesn't happen, I see it constantly happen in real life. So love triangles are a thing. I don't care if people are like, "That's so cliche." Well, you know what? It constantly happens. So, but then once I really understood Isla and Rafe's relationship and where Rafe was coming from, Rillin needed to be sort of a temptation, but not a legitimate threat. So he's a great character. I love working with Rillin. And I remember listening to song Man in the Box. And Rillin's entire character kind of came out of me constantly listening to that song. And that's true about a lot of my characters. So in developing characters, I first get a basic overview in my mind of what a character is like. Not necessarily what they look like, but how they would act in a given situation. And from there, I build them out. And sometimes they reveal themselves to me as I write. So I could start with a character and go, oh, this is how, this character would respond. I have zero control. If you do it well, you have zero control as to how a character would react in a given situation. Because you have zero control over the person next door, your kid, your husband, whatever, wife, sibling, dead dude in the basement. Whatever it is, you have no control over another person's emotional state and reaction. You could try to change those things for these people, but you can't actually make them think a certain way. So, to me, that's critical in writing really realistic characters. You can't actually control them. So, a lot of times I would have a basic idea of where I was going in a story with, the whole series. And I'd be like, oh, we're aiming here. And then the character go over there. So, and then I would hit a wall. I'm like, frick. Now I can't do what I was intending to do. But in following the character, it opened up all these new possibilities. So rule number 1 is follow the character. Forget the plot. Seriously, I don't plot. I had no idea what I was doing. So when I got to the end of Stormfront, and when I was writing Cruel Summer, I thought I knew where I was going to end, like how the series was going to end. And in fact, I told like 2 people on the planet know how the original story was going to end. And I'm not going to tell you for a long time because nobody has read Daybreaker yet. But it's nothing like what I planned. I was like, no, it won't work. First of all, everybody would have just been so mad with me. But that's not how the series ends. Look, I had no idea there was going to be a Wrecker and a Shadowtail and, a Bokor Gypsy and a nightclub for killers and a pot-smoking weirdo. I just followed the main characters, and once I followed the main characters, I was like, So if you are just starting out in writing, establish the main characters. I prefer to write in first person. I think it's a more personal voice to a character, and it also puts the readers almost like easier into their shoes. The bigger deal, though, is because I like twists, and if you've read my stuff, you get to certain points in the book, and you're like, son of a gun, how did I not see this coming? And then you go back and you realize I built in all the Easter eggs. Writing from first person allows me to torture you as a reader, because you can't see everything. You can only see what the character sees. So Undertow is just Isla. Stormfront, and I'm losing track of my own books. Stormfront and True North are in Isla and Rafe. Last Light and Daybreaker are Isla, Rafe, and MJ. And Cruel Summer is Anna and Kian. So the great thing about writing in first is I could do some stuff over here with this character and some stuff over here with this character, but this character doesn't necessarily know what this character is doing, but the reader does. So it's like watching the television show where the bad guy is hiding in the closet with the knife, but the dumb girl is going to come in and she doesn't know it, and you're screaming at the screen because you know the guy's in there, but she doesn't. That's what first person does. Third, I write my prologues in third, and all my prologues show somebody else's perspective, and it's always something most of the characters don't know. So in Undertow, it's Elizabeth's death. In Stormfront, it's Agent Howe. Oh, there's another character I didn't think would stick around. Thought he was going to drop dead, but he didn't. So Agent Howe, who they call the Hobbit, he is the prologue in Stormfront. Rillin meeting Elizabeth as a child is the prologue in True North. And Jared the Wrecker is the prologue in Last Light. And there's no prologue in Daybreaker because Daybreaker was part of Last Light. I wrote them together. And then the printers were like, ha ha ha, no, we're not printing that. It's a huge book together. So I split it. But so that's my trick for writing characters. A lot of music. Isla was Evanescence, Bring Me to Life. That was her theme song. I don't remember what the heck I had for Rafe. Rafe is a nightmare to write. Nightmare! Like, the boy needs to calm down. He drives me nuts. He's difficult, and he's got a violent streak that he suppresses. He hates being a Mortice for most of the series. Does not accept himself well. Whereas Kian takes all these bad things about his life and turns them into this dry, sarcastic humor, which is a defense mechanism. Rafe really is quiet. and he's kind of a simmering, dangerous sort of soul. That surprised me about him when I started really writing him. I realized he was really damaged. Even though as a human he never went through anything bad, he held himself to such a standard that in being a soul thief and everything he had done before, he almost had a moral core built in. He doesn't deal well with any of that. What else? Her house is real. Isla Walker's house is real. It was a friend's house. It's still there. Don't knock on the door. She doesn't own it anymore, and people will think you're a freak. Most of the places are real. What else? 3 students from the school, Sturgis. I think some were from East, though. They were... so I auctioned off characters for a fundraiser for the school. And shockingly, people paid to have their kid turned into characters. So Maya Moriarty is a real kid on the Cape. Sarah Booth is a real kid a college student now in Abu Dhabi. And Jared the wrecker is a student at East? West? I don't know. He's a boy, though. Sorry, I made you a mermaid, you know. And Foray, the other wrecker, is my doctor from Boston. Because he nagged. I kid you not. He nagged constantly. I had doctors nagging to be in the books. And I'm like, fine, I'll make you a mermaid. So, anyway, that's all I have for today. And I hope to all see you at the launch at Tickham's Bookshop, East Sandwich, Massachusetts. It's from 1 to 2 on Saturday. I shall see you later. Bye.